Faithfully share value by interpreting the world's best books. Hello, this is Sally's Book Talk. Today, I'll interpret the book, How to Quit Bad Habits for you. If you pay attention, you'll notice that most people have some bad habits here and there, like dragging your feet on tasks, having really low efficiency at work or school, getting hooked on games and wasting tons of time, staying up late all the time, overeating. All that messes with your health. And others spend money like there's no tomorrow, blowing through their paycheck every month. Actually, many folks want to kick these bad habits, but after multiple tries, they still end up failing. The book we're covering today shows that to completely ditch bad habits and refresh your life, you don't need sheer willpower. You need scientific methods. The author is Takeshi Tanagawa from Japan. He graduated from Kansai University and is a globally known action expert, plus a popular habit building guru in Japan. Tachi Tanagawa used to work at Hitachi Japan and now heads Japan Habit Cultivation Consulting as its president. Many people have benefited from his habit methods, even transforming their lives. So, how can people break free from bad habits' grip and take charge of their lives? All right, I'll break it down for you in 3 parts. First, why bad habits are tough to quit. Second, what's the habit termination technique? Can it really help folks ditch bad habits? Third, how to use habit termination to quit the top 10 bad habits in modern life. Okay, let's dive into the first topic. Why are bad habits hard to quit? Some might think, hey, as long as I'm happy and it doesn't hurt anyone, then why even bother quitting bad habits? Because bad habits just chase, short-term thrills, but long-term, they bring negative effects. Not only that, bad habits can trigger a chain reaction. For instance, if you game all night, you'll end up sleep deprived. Even if you drag yourself out of bed groggily and stumble into work, you can't focus and your efficiency tanks. Reluctantly, you work overtime to finish, order late night snacks, and soon your weight creeps up. See? That's how much bad habits affect you. So why are bad habits so hard to quit? To sum it up, there are mainly 2 reasons. First, the law of habit gravity. Our brains instinctively resist change, causing discomfort. So even when logic says to quit bad habits, your brain fights to keep things unchanged. That's habit gravity. This gravity law isn't just for breaking bad habits. Because of the brain's natural resistance, even building good habits like daily exercise or early rising is tough to maintain. So why does the brain fear change? Our minds have conscious and unconscious parts. The author compares them to an iceberg. Consciousness is the visible tip, unconsciousness, the huge hidden base. Psychology shows 95% of brain activity is unconscious. That automatic system is what we call habit. Once habits form, the unconscious follows the less hassle principle. Its mission is maintaining the status quo for comfort and security. Meanwhile, the conscious mind pushes for growth, creating conflict between the two. But since unconsciousness dominates the brain, it usually wins, making bad habits stubborn and creating false weakness illusions. The second reason, desire versus reason. Bad habits form because they satisfy certain cravings. The book gives Hollywood examples. Macaulay Culkin from Home Alone, Brad Pitt, Whitney Houston, all battled addiction. Why did they develop such dependencies? The author cites loneliness, anxiety, and panic as main causes of addictions. Celebrities often must live as public expectations dictate. These public images are usually ultra-positive and perfect, often vastly different from their true selves. So many celebrities live like they're wearing masks, unable to show their real identities. It's agonizing. To escape this pain or release intense anxiety and panic, they turn to alcohol or drugs to numb themselves for temporary relief. And when desire overpowers reason, bad habits become nearly impossible to quit. Just like in daily life, when you want to decompress, you might binge eat, smoke, game online, or unconsciously procrastinate. So bad habits aren't hard to quit because of weak willpower, they're tied to brain instincts. The brain doesn't just resist change, it fills unmet desires with substitute actions. Only by understanding these roots can we truly help people quit bad habits. While advising companies and individuals, the author developed a scientific, ultra effective method, the habit termination technique. Next, I'll break down the implementation steps. Those who've tried dieting or quitting smoking might relate. Quitting a habit involves multiple stages, each with unique challenges and behaviors. The author divides it into 4 phases: abstinence, slump, stability, and burnout. Each phase lasts 3 to 4 weeks, with tailored strategies for each. First, the abstinence phase, the most grueling stage. It's also the most critical. Many who vow to quit never even clear this first hurdle. For example, someone determined to diet sets ultra strict meal and workout plans. But within a week, they crack no carbs, no snacks, plus exercise. How's that better than fasting and scrolling in bed? So they surrender and abandon the plan. Those abstinence weeks are brutal but vital. The author provides tools to power through. First, create an environment free from temptation. For example, when dieting, stay away from fried foods and sweets. Try to skip dinner gatherings with friends after work. If you manage this, you're closer to success. Next, visualize your actions. What does that mean? Like how fitness apps track your daily steps or running distance. This makes your daily activity crystal clear at a glance. Maybe you just want higher ranking on social fitness leaderboards. That motivates extra effort. That's action visualization. It strengthens self-management, gives you extra motivation when battling unconscious urges. Truth is, few breeze through abstinence phase. Most face setbacks and feel like giving up entirely. That's when you need another strategy. Set limits for slip-ups. Say you overeat while dieting, at least resist that final dessert. When too lazy to exercise, do 30-second planks instead of completely abandoning routine. Once you survive abstinence, you enter phase 2, the slump period. Here, controlling urges gets easier, but a new problem emerges. Motivation drops. Key now is reigniting drive and creating personalized routines. Recall moments during abstinence that went smoothly. Turn those successful patterns into winning modes for daily use. Say during dieting, sticking to 3 timed meals within calorie limits worked. Like light congee for breakfast, less oily lunch, meat-free dinner. This approach feels manageable while aiding weight loss. That becomes your winning mode. During the slump period, maintain this winning mode as your body's rhythm to navigate it smoothly. But after setting behavior patterns, apply them flexibly with exception rules. For example, say your company has a feast day. You eat rich foods, sweets, and drink alcohol, lowering your calorie limit. That's an exception. Then set a weekly calorie cap. If you overate today, just eat lighter in the following days to stay under the weekly limit. That's the exception rule. Exception rules add flexibility, preventing total collapse from small setbacks that might make you quit. But the key here is boosting motivation. The book offers 8 methods. The author calls them motivation switches. Master them, and it's like flipping a power button for instant drive. Motivation switches. 1. Use self-encouragement mantras. 2. Visualize the wonderful outcomes after quitting. Motivation switch. Schedule meticulously and stick to plans. Like during dieting, fix meal times and menus to eliminate indecision. Motivation switch. 4. Focus intensely within set time blocks. Motivation switch. 5. Reward successes, penalize failures. But choose punishments you genuinely dislike that won't feed bad habits. For example, bitter melon juice as breakfast punishment. Motivation switch. 6. Daily self-reflection. 7. Choose supportive friends for mutual encouragement and accountability. Nutrition switch. 8. Publicly share your plan for social supervision. Motivation switch. With these boosters, you'll navigate the slump phase smoothly. After the slump, you enter phase 3, stability period. you'll feel refreshed with success in sight. But since your subconscious isn't fully adapted, persistence is key. No slacking, keep up the right actions. Look back at your journey, identify what worked and what didn't to fully eliminate bad habits. After stability comes the final phase, burnout. The finish line's in sight. Say you've hit your target weight. It's tempting to ease up, but habit termination's ultimate goal isn't just quitting bad habits, it's sustaining good ones long term. So during diet burnout, focus on maintaining healthy eating to prevent rebound. What you need now is variety and fresh stimulation. For burnout, inject novelty by either modifying routines or adding new elements. For instance, rotate your menu, alternate light congee breakfasts with juice and multigrain toast. Second, introduce alternative options, like swapping daily jogging for swimming, yoga, or activity rotation. Any fresh alternative reinvigorates routines. After surviving burnout weeks, persist until healthy eating becomes unconscious habit. All right, that covers our second key, flexibly applying habit termination across all four phases. Sticking to a behavior for 30 or more days trains your brain to accept it as unconscious habit. So after quitting bad habits, extend good ones to fully replace them. Now to our final topic, using habit termination to quit 10 major modern bad habits. Based on experience, the author categorizes them as action habits, body habits, and thought habits. Action habits involve behaviors, procrastination, internet or gaming addiction, overspending, lack of restraint. Action habits are considered relatively easier to quit by the author. The second category is bodily habits, usually tied to personal desires. For example, staying up late, overeating, excessive drinking, all involve a battle between reason and desire, making them slightly harder to quit. The last category is thought habits, usually connected to people's thinking and emotions, like irritability, gloominess, perfectionism, and so on. A person's personality and thinking patterns are the hardest to change, so thought habits are also the toughest to quit, a category of habits. Next, we'll explain one by one the key points and challenges in quitting these three habit categories. First, for action habits, the author believes the key to quitting is learning to break down and distribute tasks. Let's take procrastination as an example. For complex, troublesome tasks that are hard to start, people naturally tend to procrastinate. For such tasks, you need to learn to split them into many small chunks. Take tidying up a room. Many find it very troublesome and time-consuming, so they always delay it until weekends or holidays. 88, that if you learn to break it down, the situation changes. For example, you could tidy one room at a time, kitchen today, living room tomorrow, bedroom the day after. This greatly reduces difficulty and doesn't require large blocks of time. Even if you're tired today, you might just tidy for 10 or 20 minutes. No need to be perfect. The author also gives this example. Employee Xiao Li needs to input client visit details into the company's system daily. That after a busy day, recalling daytime events at night is exhausting, so he always procrastinates. What to do? He broke down the task. After each client visit, he records a summary on his phone while returning to the office. Then at day's end, he listens to the recording, notes it down, edits, and submits. This makes the work much easier. During the abstinence phase, he made a table listing specific actions and solutions to visualize the process and set a limit for slip-ups. Procrastination mustn't exceed 5 minutes each time. Then, in the slump period, he applied the breakdown method to all tasks and established a winning mode, like making a daily must-do list during his commute. During the final burnout phase, he injected fresh stimulation. For example, organizing thoughts while dictating to boost work efficiency. And just like that, Xiao Li completely overcame procrastination. Moving from action to bodily habits, the challenge here is conquering desires. Let's detail this using quitting late nights as an example. The book shares a girl who stayed up late nightly, struggling with sleep deprivation and chaotic mornings. Everything was rushed, washing up, makeup, dressing, forget breakfast entirely. After leaving home, she'd sprint to the station. Many face similar situations. What's the solution? The author advises focusing on bedtime rather than wake up time. Forcing early rises while still staying up causes sleep debt and unsustainable strain. Following this advice, the girl created a sleep plan. Peaceful, structured routine. For 7 hours, wake at 6 a.m., allowing relaxed grooming, proper breakfast, and calm departure. Life regulated, complexion improved. With sufficient sleep, this positive state became sustainable. In the slump period, she set a winning mode. Leave work by 7 p.m. daily. To achieve this, she spent 15 morning minutes planning, dramatically boosting efficiency. Success rate for 11 p.m. bedtime skyrocketed. During stability, she tweaked life details, like minimizing chat during lunch breaks. We're planning dinners ahead to avoid aimless grocery wandering. This further reduced time waste. In burnout, she added evening yoga and morning walks for fresh stimulation. The results show this approach is really effective. The girl successfully quit her late night habit in the end. Finally, let's discuss the hardest to quit thought habits. Actually, thought habits mostly stem from stress, so the key is changing how you view things. Um, Take Miss Who. Her boss gives last minute tasks, making her work slow or error prone, causing frustration. She bottles anger at work, then snaps at family over small things. What should she do? Oof. If personal stress causes irritability, find ways to release pressure. When irritable around someone, first practice empathy. See things from their perspective. Second, learn to communicate and manage emotions properly. Let's see how Ms. Who used habit termination to overcome irritability. During abstinence, she visualized daily events and irritability levels by journaling everything. After calming down, she'd identify shortcomings and practice empathy. Each morning, she'd brew tea or proactively ask her boss for tasks to maintain calm. She set a broken pot limit. Take 3 deep breaths before snapping, and if she still lost control, if she later realized fault, she apologized within 30 minutes. Then in slump period, she established a winning mode, daily baths to relieve stress before journaling. To boost motivation, she'd speak comforting self-talk, helping recognize issues and soften her demeanor. During burnout, reviewing records showed decreasing irritability episodes. To inject fresh stimulation, she bought career improvement books and planned to quit procrastination next, persisting this way. After 6 months, Miss Who's thinking transformed dramatically, successfully quitting her irritability habit. Hi. So, as long as you change how you view things, thought habits can also be changed. All right, let's summarize today's content again. First, bad habits are hard to quit, not because of weak willpower, but because the brain not only resists change, but also fills unmet desires with other actions. Second, among the 4 phases of quitting bad habits, the abstinence phase is the most painful and critical. At this time, you need to avoid tempting environments and visualize actions during the slump and stability periods. Find action patterns that suit you, discover motivation, and continuously encourage yourself to persist. In the burnout period, set up changes in every way to prevent boredom and fully adapt to new behaviors. In short, tackle both psychological and behavioral aspects. Flexibly apply the habit termination technique to defeat bad habits and rebuild life order. Third, for the 3 major categories of bad habits in modern life, the key to quitting action habits is to break them into small steps and proceed step by step. To quit bodily habits, prepare to battle bodily desires. To quit thought habits, fundamentally change your mindset and thinking patterns. Bacon said, habit is a stubborn and enormous force that can dominate life. Everyone hopes to become a better self and have a better life. A bad habit might be the start of a miserable life. A better life might begin when you quit a bad habit. All right, how to quit bad habits. That's all for this book interpretation. The keynotes are below the audio. See you in the next good book.